Hello and welcome to day 7 of The Longing. I figured before we got started, I wanted to point out that this Steam page, when you go to open the game, this sort of spoils a lot of what you can get in the game. But you notice this horse head, and I realized that's probably a reference to the story we just read. And that made me wonder if maybe the stories in this game, how deeply entwined they are with the rest of the game. It'd be interesting if having known the stories gave you some sort of hints into things you could do in the game. Would be a fascinating way of doing this. They've got plenty of time to do any of that kind of thing. Our little guy waking up. What place shall I visit today? Indeed, exactly what I was going to talk about. What do we do today? And we're starting on 26 minutes, so down to 16. We can stop or keep going. What do we do today? I wanted to do some more reading, but I also wanted to explore more of the caves, and I think at this moment I will indeed decide to explore more of the caves. Try that middle door that we haven't gone through. Yeah. Oh, I want to turn the sound back on and get my ears blasted out by this. So, being day 7, this is also the day I recorded my announcement video for this series and uploaded it along with my mirroring / re-upload of my SpongeBob AMV. And in that, I committed to uploading the first video tomorrow, or the day after that video goes out. And I'm kind of intimidated for the reason, even though I've set myself up to tell myself that I'm ready for this to be horrible and to waste everyone's time and be happy with that, I am sort of intimidated by the fact that I'm doing that, as small as that may be. I have a bit of anxiety. I made a while ago a video that was basically me just complaining, whining about the anime Made in Abyss, and I put a lot of effort into it. I tried to go somewhere with that video, and I never did. And I put it up, and people didn't like it. People disliked it, and I was like, "Oh, people don't like," and I got rid of it. I took it down because I was so anxious about what people thought. And I certainly hope I do not do the same, because this series is absolutely much worse than that video. But I've promised to myself I'm going to keep going with it. I'm hoping this to be something that will help me with anxiety in some way, the ability to just keep doing something even if other people hate it, including myself. Even if I hate this, I have to keep going because I told myself I was going to. I don't hate it, for the record, not yet, but I could very easily start to hate this. We're only on day 7. Let me up there. Why am I... Oh, I guess this is where I would obtain the crystals in the future. Once I have the pickaxe-matic thing. So that's why that appears. Part of me was thinking I was going to be doing some more reading today, and so I didn't really think of what I would talk about now. Let's go for this door. So, that's kind of awkward. Gonna be having a lot of that. Ooh, what are these things? Piece of paper and a lectern. What do we got here? This sheet of paper, yep, okay, we already read that. What is this? Pick up. I just steal that book. I wonder if it's religious. And there's nothing over on that other one. Nope. Sometimes these controls can be really fiddly to be able to get somewhere. It's all done with the mouse, this whole thing. It can be a bit annoying. Wait, what? This is confusing. Let's see if this is connects back to where I think it would. Enter door. Okay, yes, it does connect. Interesting. Let's grab the sheet of paper. Up to 6 paper. I'm gonna take this as a lesson that I should have thought more about what I was gonna talk about. We have to have at least one episode where I don't say much, because I didn't think to say much. That was inevitable from the beginning. Just try and keep going up. From time to time, solitude can be a good thing. That's a weird thing to say, if solitude is the only thing that you experience for 400 days, and just in the middle of that, you're like, you know, sometimes this is okay, a little bit, every once in a while. But this is literally all we experience. What the hell is this place? What is this? I think this is the halls of eternity. Is this... I thought this would be some sort of map, but this doesn't really seem to match up, I don't think. Like, what the heck is this? I mean, investigate. These carvings seem to show a rather crude map of the kingdom. It would take some time to decipher it. That it would. Huh. So it shows where, like, the pickaxe is. It shows where the middle is, but it's not in order, is it? If this is the middle, like the beginning room, and this is the halls of eternity, I think, this should be connected here. And is the screen slowly zooming out? But yeah, it definitely is slowly zooming out. That was unexpected. I wonder if it does that in every room. And that's annoying if I'm trying to look at the details here and it's zooming out. Yeah, I do not know why this is out of order. That is interesting. Let's try and keep going up. See what we can see. Maybe this is okay. This is just an exploring episode. I don't need to say shit. These stairs should lead to the caves beyond the Earthen Palace. I don't think the king would like it if I ventured out there. Oh. Okay. Well. Never mind then. I'm a good boy. Give me the coal. So he calls the coal a fallen brother. And we're pure black. That makes me wonder if we're made out of coal. But then what are our eyes made out of? No, I don't want to go up. I don't want to go up. I want to go this way. No, no, no. There we go. I envy people who can just out of nowhere talk about a subject and do so in a way that makes sense and in a way that other people understand and is it coherent and just all of that. I doubt that's a skill that's learnable. I assume that's probably something that you just either have or you don't have. But if it is a skill, I'm probably going to be able to pull off learning it through this. A piece of wood might be useful for building a bed. Hooray! I don't know what use I'll have for a bed besides complete aesthetics, but I'm really going to get lost in here. But that's okay! See if we can find some sort of interesting landmark before we end this video. I've never understood life, exactly. One reason I like this game is it gives me an excuse to read books. In real life, I have trouble with that because there's so many other ways of getting media that are so much more easier at this point. I used to be so into books, and now with YouTube and endless content like that, I pretty much never feel like reading a book. But here I can make an excuse to do so in this series, so that makes me happy. Before we go down here, let's check out this watery cave. Inspect moss. There's a moss growing here, but it's not ready to be harvested yet. Interesting. Splish splash. We're getting like the first green things in the game. This is a really intimidating cavern. All the other entrances are not this spooky. Huh. Lots of color splashes we're getting. And by lots, I mean two. We had green and now we're on blue. I don't know what to say. Surely won't be able to climb up here. But let's check anyway. This little droplet is doing a lot of hard work. I see. Let's get dripped on. Move a little. Nope, can't get dripped on. Oh, I can climb. Nice. Okay, never mind. What a failure. I think I could make it if I wait for the friendly droplet to fill up the pit. This might take a month. Duly noted. I wonder if there'll be an actual animation of it going up, or if it would just be if I come back here once, like in a month, it'll just be all the way up. I feel like if that drop hasn't already filled up that space, then it probably is not going to. Because theoretically it's been dripping for a long time. So why would he assume that it'll just be filled up in a month? By that logic, wouldn't the cave just flood entirely, given enough time? The water is not deep enough to drown myself in. Sigh. I think he's just not working hard enough at the idea. I think you really probably wouldn't. Well, maybe you do need a fair amount of water, enough to fill up your lungs, because if you only fill partially your lungs, there'll still be air in your lungs, so you'll still be able to breathe. But no, like, if you just sort of had like a centimeter of water, and you just sat in it face first, you might be able to pull it off if you just sat there long enough, but that's sort of more going into the vein of whether or not you can suffocate yourself by just like closing your mouth and plugging your nose. You'd probably just pass out, and then you'd automatically, your body would flail and you'd get oxygen that way. So you wouldn't be able to do it that way, and that, I assume the same would happen if you were face first in like an inch of water. This hasn't really amounted to much. Goodbye.